Throughout the history of YouTube, we have seen people who have started at the very beginning and have fallen far into obscurity. But no one's essence has been radiating through YouTube, despite many of his names, quite like Mr. Metokur or Jim. He started out as a commentary channel, and back then, those were a dime a dozen, and he gathered a big following. Jim has been known to have several accounts through the years. His first big run in YouTube was in 2007 with the name Jim81Jim, then went on to be the Internet Aristocrat, and then now with his current iteration, Mr. Metokur. These are just well-known names. We aren't accounting for all of these. Jesus Christ, Jim, just pick one. God. Point is, he's been around the block. Jim is a very polarizing and infamous figure on the internet for his content and what he talks about, but we should look at him without our moral and ethical reservations. Yes, I'm going to over-intellectualize a person that probably doesn't even want to be over-intellectualized, but I feel like we need to analyze why Jim is very important to YouTube and its history and culture. It takes a lot to be a successful commentary and rant channel on YouTube. You really need to have charisma and a good sense of direction with what you're talking about. Jim, at least in my opinion, has always been the top of the line when it comes to this type of content. He has always been involved with internet communities and 4chan. So, in essence, Mr. Metokur is YouTube's original shitlord. You can call him a troll for making fun of others on the internet, but here's a saying I like to use when rhetoric like this peers its ugly head. If you post on the internet, you are not beyond criticism and ridicule. I'm gonna be scrutinized for this furry avatar, even if it is senseless or constructive. When he talks about DeviantArt or Tumblr, it's because he's taking the piss out of it. Like I said earlier, hold your moral reservations because they really don't matter when applied to any of his content, maybe excluding the Gamergate videos he did as Internet Aristocrat. Of course, Jim himself has ideological motives, but they aren't so apparent and forthright, and it doesn't take up a large percentage of his snail trail on the internet. Of course, this is my interpretation, and I may be misreading his brand of satire, so lambast me in the comments if I'm wrong. The people he talks about in this series, like Deviants and Hugbox Chronicles, are really not victims in this case, and it's okay for Jim to exploit them. There isn't anything harmful about posting art to DeviantArt, but when you're posting something that sexualizes something that really shouldn't be sexualized, yeah, I don't find a problem with exploiting that for comedy. The internet as we know it is still like walking into no man's land. Jim is only saying his peace of mind and commentating on stuff for entertainment's sake. If it offends you, I don't think you should be on the internet at all. Nothing is free of scrutiny. This has always been a fundamental law on YouTube and the rest of the internet. And Jim has definitely paved the road for others in this type of content for the internet subculture and community. I believe many of his adversaries don't really understand him. If you think he's attacking you with hostility, you've been seeing it the wrong way. Taking yourself seriously on the internet is just the equivalent of shoving 3 airheads in your mouth at a time. Seems like a good idea and you really want your tongue to experience that burst of flavor, but the end result is your puckered asshole on your face and everyone's laughing at you. If you can't tell Jim is in on the joke as well, you need to see yourself out. Jim's content has been legendary due to how he doesn't really take himself seriously and laughs at the ones who do. I feel like we'll always need someone like Jim to point out the absurdity of it all, even if it comes off bold or risque.